Good morning, everyone. This is Ann White on the Creating Calm Network, and it is wonderful to be back with Nadya Schubert on Notes from Spirit. We've taken a one-month hiatus, but we are back with some incredible writings, a very different kind of writing Nadya is receiving from Spirit right now. So let me bring you to Nadya Schubert. Nadya is coming to us from St. Petersburg, Florida. Good morning, Nadya.
Good morning, Ann. It's a pleasure to be here. Finally, it seems like we haven't seen each other forever. But I am back, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to go.
Okay, turn around and show us your bushy tail.
I wish I had one. I used to have hair down to my waist. That would have been a bushy tail. But as you said about Spirit, they have been coming in consistently talking about connecting with them, connecting with them, connecting with them. So obviously, I think that this is pretty close to the end of what's going to be the next book. I'm waiting for the title to come through, but I truly believe that when they start becoming consistent about something very gentle and pretty, beautiful, feel good, it seems like that's the end, and the beginning will, I don't know what direction we're going to go in, but this is a beautiful writing I wrote that I'd like to read to you if you want to start with that now.
I would, but I do want to just do the theme of the writings to just show why I think these are so significant. And I apologize for the light. My curtains, which will be behind me, and I won't need this double shade, are going to be here any day now. So I'm looking like I'm coming from Transylvania. But when Nadya started writing 13 to 14 years ago, they were gentle writings. They were about things that humans would know, material beings as we're called, swans on the park, balloons, picnics. And then the writings went into a phase of, as Nadya would say, in your face, very critical. This is what's happening in the world, and this is why, and this is how you can be a part of it in a different kind of way. But it seems to me, and Nadya, I'll go back to you before we start for your thoughts on this, that the last month or two, the writings have been almost like a primer, like bringing new people on board, going back to very basics, still in a spirit kind of dictation, but the basics of why connect with spirit, how, just almost like I say, primer, I think is the best word I can think of. Nadya, have you noticed this change as well?
Yes, I have. It's almost kind of like a step-by-step guide to how to connect, and they've been doing this for the past 5 or 6 writings without adorning it with fairy tale-like sequences of gossamer birds flying over the earth and children's trains running through an amusement park. And this is the way they used to start with me. You know, they would warm me up, and which they basically do now. They'll come in with something that we can identify with what's happening now in our lives, and then go into where they want you to see, where they want to show you where they are, how you can connect. But they do give you a brief summary of something that relates to everyday life, and then they go into their space of how to create your connection with us. But with me in the beginning, it was more like this little golden-haired child who would meet me on the beach, take my hand, and bring me to this big bird that would fly over the world, and I was off. That would be the beginning of my introduction into how to work with them. And it was always very gentle. There was a train on one writing in my first book that went through a town that felt and empathized with the people in the town and all their everyday problems. And the train wished he could be a part of that world, but he knew that his job was really to make these people comfortable as they go on their journeys for the day. You know, so it was very kind of almost verbally lyrical in its own way, and it was very sweet and sing-songy and not intimidating in any sense at all. But that was working with me. I'm sure Spirit obviously works with everybody in a way that's comfortable for them. For you, it will be totally different. For other people I know, it comes even in different ways. It can come through painting, songwriting, poem writing, all this other great gifts that they have. Obviously, my gift was in writing and communicating out what I received.
Right. And so this one I'm going to put in the basic primer category. It reminds those of us who've been connecting the beauty of our connection, but it's also for someone who is new, who says, how does this happen? Why should I connect? How do I connect? What do you mean, spirit guides? So why don't we go ahead with this writing on the value of connection?
Okay, here we go. When you connect with us for any reason, whether it be a connection of a thought and the answer to that thought that may last only a moment or two, or to work with us on developing some part of your material life in a way that would feel more comfortable for you, or asking for something you may think you need to feel better about yourself, or just calling out to us to connect with you as you feel you cannot do it yet, you want to. This is truly material reasoning for whatever it is worth. As in our world, we don't just connect with one another. We are always part of the process of connecting. We are the energy that is a constant stream. It does not start or stop. We are like a cable car in your cities that is always running back and forth, allowing you to step onto it or step off of it at any given time. It is a constant vehicle of energy. You don't have to make an appointment to get on or off. The only decision to be made is to get on or get off. We are similar to a cable car who is always running at breakneck speed, if you will. Your numbers would not even reach our speed. And we truly don't think of us as speedy. We are more of a constant cosmos of truth, giving specks of light, sometimes congealing and at other times separating, similar to what your lava lamps can do. We can stream information faster than you blink, or we can slowly encircle you with our loving energy to bring you comfort and gentle guidance. We can walk with you side by side and help you to feel more confident. We can inspire you through your astral travels. We can show you pictures that carry information through our visions. We are an educational system developed to bring you mental, physical, and emotional healing at any given time and for any reason. We do not judge who or what we bring to you. We do not worry if you do not want to receive anything from us, or if you feel we do not want to come to you. It is only because you are not able to receive us. Most probably, it can be that you have not cleared your mind to allow our words to come to you. And yet, even though you might feel it is difficult to connect, there are those times when you might awaken in the early part of your day to a wonderful answer to a question you have been carrying with you and never thought you would figure it out. Yes, it would be easier to work with us if you are more consistent in speaking to us, in calling to us, either through meditation, speaking to us at the same time each day, putting yourself into a state of relaxation, whether it is while bathing, walking casually, sitting on a park bench, or if you just ask us to come to you just before you retire for the night. Many times you will receive information just before you rise for the day. And you will remember that time we connected with you, for that would be what you call an astral travel or vision that will be imprinted within you for a long time. Please know that we all enjoy connecting with our counterparts, for you are carrying a connection to us within you. And even though you think your thoughts of why you should, why you could, or why you cannot connect with us, remember they are only words. Many times words can be a block that changes the vibration and makes it more difficult to break through to you. We suggest you go more with your senses, as when we come through it may not be that obvious, such as thinking that something is just a coincidence, and yet it is us coming to you repeatedly in various ways until you get it. Even though it may not be a specific bit of information you have been asking for, It may be us confirming that we are always with you. We ask that you keep an open mind and heart and allow yourself to sense when things happen for no apparent reason or that they happen more than once. Think of us and validate that we are with you so that we can remember how and at what point we connected with you so that we can do it again and again and again. Go forward in your day, walking with the knowing that is all around you, just waiting for you to reach out and feel it, bringing your higher awareness into your consciousness and that aha smile to your lovely faces.
Pretty amazing. And what's amazing, I think, is that in this one reading, and you know, I have mine on one page, they give us so darn much information. Like the first thing I like is that they explain that, and they call us material beings. And the reason is that we're all made out of energy. Scientists have proved that. Spirit is made out of energy. We are more material. Our energy is more congealed, shall you say. So they call us the material world or the material beings. So they say that our reasoning is material reasoning about connection. And then they say that in their world, they don't connect because it's always a flow of energy. And I like that they give it back to us then like a cable car that is always ready for us to jump on or jump off. So they brought it back into a very human material way that we jump on a bus, we jump on a cable car when we want to travel. So they're available to us like that. I thought that was a brilliant lesson.
The only thing they ask you to do is jump on or jump off.
Yeah, yeah.
At least touch it. At least feel it for a moment, even if it frightens you or intimidates you or you don't understand it. And then do it again and again. The more consistent you are, the easier it is for them. Yeah.
Right, and I think too, we discussed in previous times together, the more consistent we are, the higher our vibration is, and the higher we vibrate, the easier it is to connect, because they connect through a vibrational energy level.
You know, it dawned on me yesterday. I was not even thinking about anything, and as usual, that's when I get my stuff. And they kind of said to me, you may say all the words that you need to say for yourselves in all the languages that we speak in the world. Because I often wondered, well, if they understand me, can they understand them too? Because they speak, you know, Swahili or French or whatever. It doesn't make any difference because it's all reduced down to vibrational sound. Not the sound we hear, the sound that they hear. So
right.
Once you said that to me, all of a sudden my questions, which are usually, you know, 100 to 1, just dissipated. It made perfect sense. You can explain it to me any way you want to, but it's got to be the way I would understand it.
Mm-hmm.
That was perfect. Just wanted to share it with everyone.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, because when we get to the clear vibration, then you don't need words. That's why sometimes if you have a brilliant experience, like with a sunset or just something so divine, you don't have the vocabulary, because all we have is human vocabulary. And the vocabulary is on a much higher level to explain something that magnificent or awesome.
And doesn't it bring you something that you can feel when you watch that? I mean, it's just more sensing or feeling of things that are just, that you might do every day, that may have absorbed your thinking all day, and suddenly you don't care anymore. It kind of just disappears.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it is. The other part of this writing that I went and marked is, well, first of all, I like that they said it's like lava lamps. And I like that you said lava lamps.
I was still on the lava. Okay.
But, you know, I like the feeling of that as how energy can come together. But they said they can walk with us. They can inspire us. They can take us on astral travels. They can show us pictures that carry information, like in dreams. And they call themselves our educational system. And really, they are the source. Some people call them the source of all knowledge, the source of universal knowledge. But there are so many ways we can be with Spirit. Wrapping us in love, even, is another way that they are there with us. So again, in this brief writing, they've described who they are and how they can be with us. Very, very beautiful.
Right, and then the extension to this writing was the one I wrote yesterday, which we could read next week, that really depicted this whole thing is all about truth and love, period.
Mm-hmm.
Even a person that is religious or an atheist that isn't religious can understand truth and love. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. And I like how they say, too, with connecting, it doesn't have to be magical or anything like that. It could be when you go to bed at night. Just relax your thoughts. You can do it through meditation. You can do it while you're bathing. Actually, when I was reading that part where they're saying all the ways, they say it's more helpful if we can go to a state of relaxation or clear our mind of all the clutter. Where they seem to come to me is when I'm in the bathroom, usually on the toilet. So I guess I must just clear my mind when I'm in there, because then I come running out with a bright idea. You know, I always get my bright ideas when I'm in the bathroom. So that must be my mind area.
Frank Lloyd Wright had a thing about toilets. He always built his toilets like 8 inches from the floor, 8 to 10 inches high, because when he lived in the Orient, that's the way they did it. And medically, they said this was the healthiest way to get energy through your spine to your brain. And in yoga, that's called Kundalini energy. It seeps through your spine and it heats that spine up. You can feel it coming through. And all of a sudden, there's this explosion of pure love and adoration for everything. You're just in a zone that you never have been in before. And I only experienced that once. But they do say, he did say that about sitting on the toilet. And you're right, I get some amazing thoughts sitting on the toilet. I know, isn't it?
Yeah, I used to work in a think tank when I was a consultant, where for a major Fortune 500 company, and we got paid lots and lots of money. And we'd sit around in these rooms, and they would put us in isolation and bring us out to groups. But whenever I went into the toilet, I'd come running out. Okay, I've got the idea, you know. So they probably didn't have to pay that much money for other rooms. Just give me a little porta potty somewhere in there, and I would have had the ideas. But anyway, but I think the point is, for spirit, they're always there, like the cable car. The way we can hop on the best is to clear our mind of the clutter. Because we really, us human beings, material beings, we think about the future, we think about the past, the what-ifs, that we're busy, busy, busy. And really, all of that in the big picture, it's not that important. So what's important is we open our mind, we open our heart, we take time to breathe, and that's when spirit can connect with us. So a lot of times you can do just before you go to bed, if you want to just breathe them in, and they know what you're thinking. I don't even know if you have to ask for anything specific. Do you, Nadia? They seem to read your thoughts pretty well, so it might not be needing to ask.
I agree, because they'll come up with things I might have thought about a month before that I didn't even think I was thinking about. So evidently we all store our thoughts into our memory banks somewhere, and that's the level that they're on, that they see, not our conscious awareness, but the other parts of our brain that are not conscious, where we store things, where they come from. I really feel that they come from like a back door in, not something that we're aware of that even exists. I think we don't know so much about our brains, or use our brains anyway. I mean, what do we use? Percentage points of our brains, small percentage. So can you imagine? I wish I could live 100 or 200 years from now and just see what technology is going to be able to bring us, and where we're going to be able to connect it on a telepathic level. It's going to be amazing. No one's ever going to be able to lie anymore.
Yeah, you know, then when you think of lies are words, but they do talk about the words as being blocks. And sometimes with our words, we say what we think we want, and truly it's not what we need. And that's one of the wonderful things about spirit, is I think that they're able to direct us to what we need, what is for our highest good, more than what we think we want. And so many times that's happened to me. I'll get this plan, and, you know, they say man plans and God laughs. So, you know, and I can see that in this way. I'll get a plan that I think is so great, and then it just falls apart, and something even better opens up. So that's why I think spirit directs us to what we really need, not to what we think we do.
The truth from spirit. This is the true, not the truth, just truth. I mean, it's almost like a dedicated thing that maybe we can't see. Maybe, you know, they'll see into the future because they have no time. There's no past or present or future. It is all together. I'm not quite sure how that works, but I really do believe that they can see what can happen that we can't, which to me is the future, because we have a time frame that we work with. But to them, it's just what it is.
Yeah, there is no time. So this was, I think, another beautiful reading in that introductory series of saying to someone who has never even thought of this, that there are spirit guides available. They're there for us all the time, whether or not we connect with them. They try to connect with us, but we can make it easier by clearing our mind. And there are so many ways, and things that we think are coincidences are really just spirit trying to get our attention by giving it to us over and over again until we get it. And for those who are squeamish about spirit or think it gets in the way of religion, then translate the name and call it guardian angel. Because I don't think spirit cares what you call it, as long as you use it for your higher good. They're really there for our higher good.
I really, if people could just think of it as an encyclopedic formula that has the answers to every single thing, because it's a conglomeration of all the lives of those who have lived, put together in the giant book, let's say, of answers. Instead of doing a how-to, Time Life has those how-to books.
Yeah.
This is your own personal how-to, okay? Take it or not. It's always going to be there. And one day, unconsciously, you might even ask for something, not realizing, because you're not directly saying, I want, I need, I whatever. Just thinking about it is almost like a question to spirit to go, oh, let's go to page number 5,369,000, because there's the answer. And they'll bring it to you in some way where you're going to think, oh, you thought of that, but think about it. Did you really think about that answer? Could it have really been the one that you would have chosen? So, and when that happens, they always love to be validated. They always like to say, thank you for helping me, or thank you for making me notice that, or thanks for being here. It always helps to boost their energy.
Yeah, and this is the first time I've seen them call themselves an educational system. They really are. And one of the coincidences of my earlier life, and I was always aware of spirit realm, but I hadn't really even thought about practicing any of it or even connecting, is when I was an attorney. And I thought I knew a deadline in this one specific event I had. And I was pretty clear I was right. And I got up to go to lunch one day, and a book flew from my bookcase, just about hit me and opened up on the floor. And when I looked to pick it up, I just happened, out of curiosity, because I'm that type, was just looking at the book. It was the Rules of Civil Procedure, and it had the rule that said that day I had to do something for this case that I wasn't going to do. I thought I had a 30-day deadline instead of a 10-day deadline. And I just thought that was pretty cool, that the book flew open to the one thing, and then I looked at it, knew right then that I'd missed, I had hours to go. So instead of going to lunch, I wrote my pleading. Everything was well. I looked brilliant. But that was pretty remarkable. And those things happen all the time. When you're at that point, I wasn't even connecting. They're just there trying to get us to be part of it. Now
that's an amazing awareness. I mean, that was an in-your-face awareness. It wasn't coming into the
book.
That's an awareness, which is very hard for them to do, to move something. Gather that kind of cosmic energy, whatever it is. What is that called when you see an astral travel? It's the gathering of the energy, but there's a word for it.
Yeah, I don't know the word, but I know that it's difficult, and yet they do it when they have to.
Yes, and I wanted to tell you something. I just forgot as we were talking, but I know that sometimes, when I'm supposed to be doing something, I feel like almost it's a dedicated thing, and I really work against doing it. And inevitably, if it takes a month, somehow they're going to come through in little ways that whole month until I finally give in and I do what is supposed to be done. And I think that even if you don't do what's supposed to be done, if you think about it and you tell, let's say, another person about it, even that transference of thought changes the vibration or the direction of what was supposed to be done. And it could save your life eventually. I mean, yes. There are times where my teacher would tell me certain things. I wouldn't listen to her, and one of them was driving in a car without a seatbelt. And it was a small car, and she finally got frustrated enough and said, this is not going to be good. You could be having an accident, and this could happen. And then finally, I went listen to her, and she said, "You're going to have an accident." It was something very direct. At any rate, I decided one day to put on my seatbelt, and that was the day I couldn't get off the highway that I was supposed to get off of the exit to go to see her class, and had to go out further and then detour around, and found out later that another car had crashed on that exit at that time, and I believe she was killed, the woman that was in the car. So change the energy just by putting on the seatbelt. And that car blocked me from getting off. I had to keep going. So those are very obvious points. You know, usually I don't remember them being that obvious. But a flying book to me would be very obvious.
And open to the page of the civil procedure laws, the right deadline, and for me to say, oh, no, I had that one wrong. So anyway.
Now, why can't we do that all day? I mean, just have them help us do whatever we need. Why do we have to even think about it?
Yeah, I need a little more help sometimes. But anyway, it's great to be back with you again. We'll be here for the whole month of October. And for those who enjoy these readings, Nadya has 2 books out of her earlier writings, and those are the gentler, they're almost literary or poetic prose, but they're channeled from spirit, and they are We Are With You Always with Love, and We Are Truth, We Are Love, We Are You. They're available on Amazon in both ebook and tree book, paperback. And of the more current writings, the ones we're calling more in your face, the more compelling writings about the situation we're in now, that's a book called Notes from Spirit. And again, available on Amazon, and paperback books. So you can get these books and really feel the energy of the books. It's more than the words. It's the energy that comes through from these books. So it's available all the time. Anyway, Nadya, thank you very much, and we will see you next week with another writing, and take care. Have a beautiful day.
Have a wonderful day, Anne.
Yeah. Namaste all.